Show and the Mike Crook Show with our host, Mike Crook. Mike, you have another amazing guest for us today. Who is it?
Yes, this is Tamara Bratton. She lives down here in the beautiful Emerald Coast in our Florida beaches that are just so beautiful and white and cool during the summer that you need to come visit. But down here on the Gulf of America, and Tamara is become a great friend of our family. But Tamara has been using our LifeWave patches. Golly, she's using them multiple. She teaches me things about some of the new patches or the patches that I haven't got experience with. But she's been using a number of the different patches for different things that she's seen in her own body. And so Tamara is a wife, a mother of two beautiful little girls. Golly, they're not little anymore. They're just growing up so fast. And owns a dance studio down here on 98 in Santa Rosa Beach. And she teaches dancing. Never had any experience in dancing. She'll have to tell you that story, and maybe another day if we have time. We'll get into some of it today. But wonderful husband, Neil, who's a great father and a great leader in the family. And so we started with them working the patches together. And so she's got some business things to tell us, but she's got really a powerful testimony about what it's done in her body. And so without further ado, Tamara, will you jump in here and start to talk with us?
Yeah. Hey, Neil. Hey, Mike. Good to see you guys. Good to be with you. So I joined Mike shortly after he started using the patches. He came to me and he said, "Hey, have you gotten any success with your hands?" And I was typical Tamara fashion. I'm like, "No, Mike, still no success with my hands. What do you got now?" Because Mike had already introduced us to a company that I loved, and that was helping me with just overall health and wellness. And I was like, all right, what's next? And so I knew that there was something that he had. And so he was like, well, just see if you had any help. And I'm like, nope, they still hurt like crazy. So I had been dealing with joints in my fingers that wouldn't move. They would lock up completely. You can still see it a little bit in my pinkies if you're watching on video. But basically my hands looked like I was about 80 years old. And they hurt about like I was probably 80 years old. And I'm in my 30s, and I couldn't imagine living life like that any longer. It was painful to the point where I couldn't wash dishes, couldn't pick up groceries. In bed at night, if the bed sheets would wrap around my fingers wrong, I would literally squeal. It would be a wake up, and just the breath was taken out of my body. It was so painful, and there was no explanation. Doctors, I went to naturopathic doctors first. They, let's take out gluten, let's take out dairy. That didn't help. Take out peppers, all the anti-inflammation, take out all that stuff. It never helped. It never made a dent in the pain or the swelling. And then I'd seen, I've seen rheumatologists, I've seen orthopedics, I've seen, because then my toe started swelling as well. So I saw a foot doctor. And it was just nobody really had relief for me. All of the harder medicines weren't really doing anything. Even the ones that were supposed to be pain blockers, it was just like nothing was working. And then Mike introduced this to our family, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, Mike, I'll try it. And what actually ended up happening was not what I wanted to have happen, but even better for our family. So I started taking the patches, and within about 3 days, I started my cycle. And normally when I would start my cycle, there would be this really big burst of anger, sadness. Basically, the anger would lead to me being really sad and shameful that I had gotten angry. And then that would lead me directly to the thoughts of suicide. It was insane, the fastness of that cycle. And that had started about my youngest daughter is 8 years, and that had started after having her. So it was basically like every single month I would go through postpartum depression and anxiety and sadness and anger and suicide thoughts every single month for 8 years. And it was just, quote, my normal for my family. So I wasn't seeking any help for that because we knew how to deal with that. Neil would be like, hey, I know what's going on. This is just your body. You're about to have your cycle. You're fine. Come home. Don't do anything. It was insane though, that was just our norm. And we just thought that was our norm. And all of that to be said, I looked at Neil and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on my period. He's like, what? And I'm like, no, I'm on it. Like on it. He's like, but we didn't have any of the mood swings. We didn't have any of the roller coasters, the ups and downs. And I'm like, I know. And so all that to be said, ever since being on the patch, that was, I think, August of 2024. So ever since then, I think I've only had those thoughts of shame and suicide once or twice. And it's been when I've now had work stress. So I can kind of relate it also to just stress in life. But the hormones that my body have leveled out have obviously completely transformed our family, because that is a completely transformed life to not have, 1 to 3 or 8 of crazy mom of this person. And nobody would know this because only my family would see that. I wouldn't had one outburst at work with my very best friend. And so she saw it once where she was like, oh, this is what you're talking about. I'm like, yeah, this is it. And so all that to be said, that was huge for us. Back to the hands, I'll quickly summarize. After about 3 months, I no longer had pain in my hands as well. So the joints didn't necessarily go down in swelling for me yet, but I don't have the pain. Like I can touch my pinky and not wince. I can go to bed and not wake up in the middle of the night because the pain is so bad. So it's been amazing for us. And just the way that God had worked through that to allow that healing, because trust me, I have sought after healing from many methodologies. Just like I said, the traditional doctors, but I also was going to the prayer teams. I also was going to the deliverance services. I was going to the prophetic services. I was doing the healing ministries. I was trying all those things, fully believing that God could heal me because I've seen miraculous healing through that for other areas of my life, but realizing that this isn't how God was going to heal me this time. And so it was just, for me, that's kind of a big roundabout summary of my story.
Wow. And it's amazing. And so once you went ahead and started the patches, when did you start seeing the results?
Yeah. So the results, again, for the first thing that I saw were about 3 days of the mood swings. The results in my hands was about 3 months. So all of that to be said, each of those was a little bit different in time. And then my results are only getting better and better as I continue with my hands as well as other areas of my body.
So Tamara, are there some other patches that you have also used and found to be interesting and just impactful both in your life and other people's lives? I know you've helped me with a couple of patches, but tell me, learning about things, but tell me what some other experiences you've had with other people.
Yeah. So I started with the X39. That's the main one. I use it every day still. And I think next used the Eon, knowing that it was for inflammation support and healing. The first day that I used Eon, I used it at night and woke up the next day, couldn't get up. Like the alarm went off. Like my body needed rest so bad. Then that happened maybe for the first couple of days, but after that it was fine. So my body needed rest so bad to heal itself. And then
they call that patch the bliss patch because it just makes you relax and it gets you better sleep. Some of the patches have that effect of just putting you out and putting you to sleep. So that one just, and it makes me honestly, like if I'm having a stressful day or if I know that there's something stressful, which really doesn't happen because again, the mindset that Christ has given me since this has been, it's just like I keep getting levels and levels deeper with my faith through my work with the Christian Studio, but also just through other modalities. Even the business of this, the way that our leaders approach things is so biblically based. That I feel that my mindset is, yes, affected by the patches, but also, yes, affected by my relationship with Christ. And so that, like you said, the bliss patch, like it really does level me out when I'm getting stressed out, which is great. Like I don't have to have any sort of other medication to help me with my moods. The LifeWave is another one that I've used and helped a lot of people use for pain. And in particular, for me, it didn't really work as well on my fingers to relieve the pain, just because those are such little tiny things that I was never
stick them just straight to my fingers. But anytime that I've had pain in my back and my legs, I always use that to help me first before resorting to Tylenol or something. I actually have an Eon patch on my head right now. I totally forgot that I had that until I looked because I had a headache last night. And so I wanted to do that instead of taking Tylenol. I gave one to my daughter as well last night because she also had a headache. We worked, we helped with a local bakery do all of their Thanksgiving meals. So we worked for about 8-9 hours straight, just on our feet yesterday, all of our family. There's another one. Anytime that I've gotten sick, especially throat sick, where my voice changes, because that is kind of common for me, my voice to change. Even without being sick, just if I talk more, I put the glutathione right on my throat, and I was so surprised the first time that I did this. So there's a glutathione patch, which is for the health of your body. It's for your immune system. And, I was feeling really bad one day. My throat hurt so bad. My voice was just crazy. And I put that on my neck, not really thinking it would help that much. And immediately, I could talk normal and my throat didn't hurt. And I was completely surprised and blown away. And I thought, that's so weird. That's so weird, but also I'm so grateful. And so for about a week, I was walking around with one on my throat, and I was wearing like these type of shirts. So it was high because I didn't want people to be like, what a weirdo. Or to think that I had like a trach or something. Like I was a little cautious. So I'd get to my dance studio and I'd see parents and I'd be like, doing this with my shirt, and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm sick, but I'm not contagious, but I've got this thing and it's really helping me. And they're like, oh, tell me more about that, because I'm getting sick. So it's kind of one of those, like, as weird as it is, I don't normally walk around with them on my body where people see them, like on my face and neck, but they do really help. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. What do you think about them, Mike?
It's been an amazing year and a half of getting to know what these things will do, because they've got so many technologies within the company. The X39 stem cell activating patch was the last one that came along. The X49, but they were working on them simultaneously, both affecting copper peptides within the body. But there's another thing I want to ask you about, Tamara. So as a business, you've had experience in working direct sales with Beachbody, had to coach people, had to do and learn their different workouts, and and initially you kind of thought that was a fun thing, that I'll get to work out for free and get paid for helping people. And then we've done things that were nutrition based and kind of a Me Too thing. And then now you've got these stem cell activating patches and the other patches they have, and it's really a very unique thing in the marketplace. Can you kind of, as a direct sales marketer, you love direct sales and like what you're doing with it, how do you see this different than everything else that's in the marketplace?
Yeah. So as Mike said, I started as a Beachbody coach a long time ago. That business is no longer a direct selling business. And it was hard. And I mean, really hard in terms of just the changeover of constantly getting people to buy the next workout plan, buy the next nutrition product that was on the market. And while I still love those workouts, I still do them. I still love the energy drink that I got from them. It was just one of those things that the actual business model for me in particular was tough. I was also placed, it was a binary system. I was also placed in a completely dead leg. So I had no upline support, whereas LifeWave is very clear about never placing somebody in a dead spot. And I mean, from corporate down. So that's really, really, really good. And then just the differences that I have felt is, again, you can go on YouTube and find great workout programs. You can go into the local gym and get a workout class together with other people. There's other places that you could do that. And so that was really when I had to figure out, okay, what's the unique difference? And I did figure out what's my unique difference. It was, I can help a lot of moms that are really tight on time get a really great workout done really quickly. And that was what I focused on. And so it did help a lot of moms. And I loved that part of it. But the amount that you had to do for the work was so significantly different. I mean, I was setting up what we would call boot camps every month. And so I was setting up a new Facebook group, or we got an app eventually every single month where I had to put a post in every single day, where I had to follow up with my clients every single day, check on them, do all these things. And it's not that I don't check on my people, but it was like you were their own personal nutrition and fitness coach getting paid like literally like $1. Like, and I mean that. It was crazy. And yes, did I earn, well over multiple six figures? Absolutely. We did great with that. But it still wasn't sustainable. And that was over the course of the 8 years that I did it. It wasn't all in 1 year. So we did great. I earned all the trips. I always earned the vacations. So I loved that side of it. But I just was like, man, I'm still only making, I think my best month in there was maybe $3,000 a month. And I was working so hard on that business. And then, yeah, like Mike said, we then kind of got introduced to a nutritional product. That was great. The product itself is still something I still use. It still helps me. But it was like convincing people, hey, you've already got your multivitamins. Come and try these other multivitamins. Hey, you know what collagen is? Come and try this collagen. Or, hey, your immune system is a little bit wonky. I know that you are already super crunchy and you're doing this silver stuff, but come try this other one. And so it was just like this, come try this instead of that. And while again, we were able to help a handful of people with that, I didn't feel very passionate about it because it felt very similar to what I'd already been doing of this, hey, try this instead of this. Whereas with LifeWave as a business, it's much easier to say, hey, have you heard of stem cells? Do you know what they are? And they're like, yeah. And some people will have actually tried stem cell injections. I have a few friends that have, and they've paid $500,000 per injection plus. Many of them go out of the country to do these things. So they're paying even more for travel. And so they've heard of it or they've researched it, but they've never gotten to try it themselves. Most of my friends have never gotten to try it. They've wanted to, but they haven't had the opportunity to because of the cost or just going out of the country and feeling a little bit wonky about that. And where are those stem cells that are injected coming from? Sometimes dead children. Like, it's not cool. Like, I'm just like, that's so gross. That's so weird. And so all of that to be said, it's easier to say, no, your body heals itself. God made your body to heal itself. And he has given us the tools to learn how to heal ourselves. There's so many different things that people have learned from nutrition and from just rest and from not being stressed. But also now here's this patch, this technology that literally goes and tells the body, hey, go do what it was intended to do. And wake up these dormant stem cells and heal itself. So that's really where the difference is there's nothing like it on the market that literally heals your body the way that God originally designed it to heal.
It is so unique. It is not a Me Too technology. And so I honestly, Neil, I've done thousands of calls by now. Probably several thousands calls or a few thousand at least. And I've never had anybody that I've interacted with who said, yeah, I've heard about all that. I know all about it and leave me alone. Goodbye. They're curious. So it's as a business, it's not being a Me Too business where everybody else has something similar. It's just really been a very different business and very much receptivity. In fact, one day I had this time period where I had some leads that I was going to call on, and I was just curious as to what they would receive. And so I talked to them about a nutrition product and I talked to them about a stem cell product and asked them which one they would want to market. And I'm just going, here's two things. And everybody chose the stem cell product because it was exciting to them. They didn't want to do something that they had been doing before. They're interested in something that was new. And so it's been really a very different venture from that standpoint. So people, I'm sure that our listeners who are listening right now are going, yeah, I get interested in stem cells. That's why I'm at your video right now. That's why I'm listening right now, because it's something that I'm Googling. I'm searching for information on it. And, it's really an interesting way to do it. By the way, we've got a website that if somebody's just interested in information about stem cell therapy, we put it together specifically for that process. It's not just about LifeWave. In fact, it really doesn't have anything about LifeWave on it, except that there's some mention of how their therapy works within it. And again, I call it a therapy, but it's really not. It's again, something that doesn't heal the body. It causes the body to heal itself, like Tamara so gratefully has explained here this morning. But it's called Specialty Health Solutions, FL.com, Specialty Health Solutions, FL.com. Of course, you'll put it down in the links down below. I know you will, Neil, but thank you for being with us this morning, Tamara. And we're just so excited to see what's happening with you and your family and your business and where it's growing from here and the momentum that you have. And so we're tons excited.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, Tamara. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all.
All right. That's a special simulcast Neil Hayes Show and the Mike Crook Show, guys. Take care.